Hi knitters, welcome back to Rena Knits. In this week's video, we're going to be making a phone case. It's a small, simple project that can be done for fun in an hour or two, or it's something that you could start involving your kids with. Something fun and easy. And if you're learning how to knit, this is a great project to start off with too. The materials you will be using to make a phone cover is the phone that you'll be using, yarn of weight 4, a measuring tape to measure the phone, and US size 8 straight needles. We will measure the phone in order to determine what the dimensions are that we would need for our stitches, so that way we will determine the number of stitches that we need to cast on. We will begin by casting on 18 stitches. Because we're using straight needles, we will be needing a sewing needle at the end to sew it together. 18 stitches will cover one side of the phone. So we're going to cast on 18 stitches. Once you've cast on 18 stitches, what I want to do is a simple pattern. So I am going to do a line pattern, so basically a rib pattern for my wool cover. So it's going to be about 3 by 3. So 3 knits, then 3 purls, 3 knits, and 3 purls. So my row 1 would be 3 knits, 3 purls, 3 knits, 3 purls, and then my row 2 would just be the opposite, in order to make sure that I knit over the knits and I purl over the purl. So I will begin by doing 3 knits, 3 purls, 3 knits, and then row 2 we would start off with 3 knits again, because we ended with 3 purls. So now on the opposite side, on the wrong side, it would be the 3 knits. So again 3 knits, 3 purls, 3 knits, 3 purls, and you would continue this pattern till you get 6 inches on one side. But because we're going to be folding over and knitting it together, so you basically want to continue this for 12 inches. And then we'll measure to see if we need to do any extra more rows in order to be able to stitch it and put it all, be able to fit the phone in. Once you've knitted your phone case to the size you think is right for the phone, you can do is put the phone in here and measure. Now, one thing with yarn is that once you wash it, it loosens up a little bit and opens up. So even if it's like totally fit, after giving it a wash, it will open up a bit, so it should be fine. So as you can see here, I am at the top of my phone. So I am now going to start binding off to finish off my phone case. Now to bind off, what I'm going to do, there are a few things you can do here. You could bind off completely and then sew the sides. So that's one way. Another way is you could bind off to about 2 to 3 stitches, depending on how thick you want a strap. And then you could knit those 3 for a little bit to create a little loop at the end. And that's my plan for it. The third one is you could do the 2 to 3 stitches here and create a loop this way, and then stitch them together with when you sew this together. So there's 3 different ways of creating a loop of finishing off the phone case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind off till I have about 2 stitches remaining, and then I'm going to create a small loop. So to bind off, I'm just going to do knit one and then knit one, knit another, and then slip over rather than knit two together. Now I'm at the 2 stitches, so I'm going to just knit these about maybe 3 inches, just so it's a good fair, and I have enough to create a good size loop. And then I'm going to start stitching it together and finishing it off. So I'm going to just keep knitting these 2 back and forth till I have the proper size that I want. Once you have knit the extra for a bit of a handle, the size that you want, what I'm now going to do is bind off this part, and then I'm going to cut about 2 to 3 inches of yarn in order to sew everything together. I'm going to take the extra yarn and put it through this loop and then tighten it so it's tight. So once you have the extra yarn, what you're going to do is fold your case wrong way out, so the wrong side is on the outside, and then you're going to have this here and you're going to loop this in. So you're going to have this loop, you're going to fold it in so it's inside, and then you're going to start just sewing it all together on one side, and then once you're finished with that side, you're going to just do the other side to finish it off. Okay, so I've cut the extra yarn. So what I'm now going to do is pull this through here so it tightens the last stitch in its place, and just tighten it. So now I have my little loop to hold it from, and then I'm going to just go from here. Now in my case, whether I fold it one way or the other, it's pretty much the same. Then I'm going to put this here and I'm going to just start sewing it together. So why don't you finish off sewing, and then we'll see how it looks at the end. Once you've used your needle to sew both sides, so here I've put this way and then sewed all the way through and cut it off here, and then here I did the same. I sewed from here all the way through and cut it off here. So this was on the back side, the reverse side. Then you could use a crochet hook to clean up all the loose ends and cut what you don't need. And then what you do is just to flip it out so it's on the right side. And this is how it will look. So it will be clean on this end because you did it on the inside, on the wrong side. And you could try putting your cell phone in and see how it looks. And this is how mine looks. If you like this video, don't forget to click that like button. And if you're new, welcome. Don't forget to click that subscribe button to get the latest videos on knitting projects, knitting patterns, knitting ideas, and much more. Relax, enjoy, and keep knitting.